In the political notebook this week, two issues. The first, the alliance summit between the ANC and COSATU, and the second, looming disciplinary charges against Julius Malema. And I've got with me Moipone Malefane from the Sunday Times. Hi, welcome.
Thank you.
So let's start with the alliance summit. They all got together around a big table, and at the end of it, were they closer together, or are there still problems?
I think they are closer together, but closer together will be in a sense that they were frank even at the press conference on Tuesday to say to us there was blood on the floor. Everyone spoke, people spoke their mind, and the press conference, it was quite interesting that it was addressed by it was COSATU and ANC, but Julius Malema, that we know he is so outspoken, was not there. And the sources are telling us he was a bit taken aback by how he was attacked at the meeting, whereby some ANC comrades raised on the lifestyle audit. They raised issues around his own lifestyle and the businesses that the wife has. So to a certain extent, some attacks or what they called a frank discussions became personal. But at the end of the day, I think both parties, they know what is the problem and what is it that they are uncomfortable about with one another. For instance, the ANC raised an issue with the matters that COSATU has raised. COSATU attacked President Jacob Zuma after the State of the Nation address on the surprises on things that they were unhappy with. When Pravin Gordhan, after the tabling the budget, spoke of the wage subsidy, which COSATU also was very outspoken about it, to say, where does this thing come from? It's not an ANC policy. We've got bureaucrats in government who continue to implement policies that are not ANC. ANC said at that meeting they found COSATU, they are surprised by COSATU's behavior of going out to attack them publicly, but when ANC does the same, they say you haven't consulted the alliance.
And the words were the ANC was not happy with COSATU acting as a vanguardist kind of movement.
I think the other words that were used is like they see it as being behaving like it's an opposition, and also being reactionary. And their argument is based on, before COSATU can go out and lambast, it must first speak to the ANC, the same order that they expect from the ANC to say, before you attack, before you say anything or before you implement anything, consult the alliance. And we do respect that ANC is it leads the alliance.
Did COSATU buy into this argument? I mean, do you think that they are going to go that way, or are we going to see more public confrontation?
I think we'll continue to see public confrontation. There may be like few confrontations, but we will see them because COSATU reacts based on what comes out. And some of these things, they believe they have to be consulted. For instance, for Pravin Gordhan to go in Parliament and speak about the wage subsidy, which was kicked out at the NGC in 2005, how come nobody knows in government that this thing was kicked out? So for COSATU on some of the things, it's a question of, does the president know what is happening? I think the Ministry of Finance is a very important ministry that the presidency needs to be involved, or to a certain, I don't know the processes, it has to be, presidency have to be briefed with regard to what the budget speech is going to say, even if it's not the president, but the president has surrounded himself by people who come from the Tula House who should know the policies of the ANC.
Do you think that whole wage subsidy proposal is now dead?
I think it's going to die.
Okay, now at the meeting, on the one side of the table, one of the delegates was Julius Malema. So we just want to turn to him. Disciplinary charges have been formulated. Do you know what the charges are?
I don't know what the charges are, but the understanding is there is a process that is underway. But I think the bigger thing is what are the charges saying? And it's clear that on Friday, the Friday meeting where after the COSATU and ANC bilateral was adjourned, President Jacob Zuma was late. And my understanding from the sources at Little House is that the officials remained behind after Jacob Zuma had arrived, and they remained behind and they had discussions. I want to believe the charges for Julius to be charged, the decision was taken on that day.
Do you think he's actually going to really get taken down by these charges, or do you think at the end of it he's going to end up off the hook and laughing all the way to the bank?
There's part of me that says he may be off the hook if indeed he has been charged. That's one. Two, The thing is, what are the charges? What are the charges? Those charges will determine whether he'll be able to walk. Because where I'm sitting, I think one of the things it will be bringing ANC into disrepute. Because after the NEC had decided that nobody must speak against the NEC or attack one another, I think Julius had continued to attack people. Although it is most people believe that the reason why the charges have been brought, what pushed, is because of what he did when he went to Zimbabwe. And before he went, he had a meeting with the president. The president apparently briefed him in regard to what, that is the side of the people that are working with the president, that on what he must do and how he must behave. And he goes there, he attacks and sort of undo the work that President Jacob Zuma is doing as a mediator assigned by SADC or AU to work in Zimbabwe.
And this is Zuma's big, prestigious international engagement that he's been assigned to by the AU, and now it's being seriously undermined because the ANC is looking partisan.
Yes, and the other thing is, I think also the people that, the mediators from South Africa, the team that Jacob Zuma has put together, I think they are also clear that we cannot be used, or our work cannot be undone by the little boy.
Okay, on that note, thank you very much, Moipone. That's all in the political notebook for this week.